people still ask me, why are you not married? I'm like, why are you still single? I said, do I ask you why you're still married? Don't ask me why I'm still single. जब भी मैंने शादी की तब प्रॉब्लम हुआ, जब भी मैंने शादी खत्म कर दी तब प्रॉब्लम हुआ, अब मैं सिंगल हूँ तब प्रॉब्लम है. तो ये 18 साल की है या ये 20 साल की है, ये क्यों करती है? प्रॉब्लम रहेगा. बट मिसोजिनी तो दैट कैन गो ऑन फॉरएवर एंड एवर, क्योंकि वो तो हम हर दिन हमारे टेलीविजन स्क्रीन्स पे, हमारे घर में हर सालों से बरसों से देखते जा रहे हैं मिसोजिनी. I have never shied away from that. My first film that I produced at the age of 24, Tamanna, dealt with female infanticide. I was a kind of person who couldn't deal with the fact that my father wanted to kill me with the day I was born because I was a female child.
The last week has been really hard and I've been crying every day. But, you know, it's not about the physical tears. It's about just inspiring people. Don't cry because you get up and you run with those punches.
They'll tell me to shut up. They told me at 17, they tell me at 52.
Exactly.
कि आपकी ओपिनियन थोड़ा ज्यादा है, थोड़े अपने आप के पास ही रख लें. Unnecessarily क्यों आप बोर्ड को रॉक कर रहे हैं? आज के दौर में जब भी आपका सोशल मीडिया, हर किसी के पास तो ओपिनियंस ही है ना. They're only opinions. They have no lives, but they've got opinions.
True.
So the point is that if you don't know who you are you? Anita Verma asks. If you don't know who you are, the world will tell you. So if you don't want the world to tell you who you are, you better form a sense of self.
Hello and welcome to Bollywood Bubble. I am Akriti Bagla and today I can say I am with an amazing cast of Big Girls Don't Cry. So first of all, hello and welcome everyone.
Hi. Thank you.
You know, Nitya ma'am, I would like to start with you. You have titled the show as Big Girls Don't Cry. Why such a title? In the context, because you know, हमने बचपन से सुना है कि अरे लड़के नहीं रोते हैं.
लड़के?
कि boys don't cry.
हाँ.
We have always heard such a narrative. And you know, as girls, बचपन में we are given that leverage कि ठीक है तुम रो रही हो वो ठीक है. But as you grow up, you succumb to a certain pressure कि you should not showcase your vulnerability. What prompted you to give such a title?
That's a really good question, and I love starting with something like that. In fact, the last week has been really hard and I've been crying every day. But you know, it's not about the physical tears. It's about just inspiring people that
True.
Life is going to come with punches, means like, I'm so happy you guys are not old yet, right? So the punches are coming for you. But big girls don't cry because you get up and you run with those punches. And that's what it really is. So it's not about the physical tears because it's damn important to cry. But it's what you do after the tears dry up.
True.
Right? Yeah. So simply
Pooja ma'am, would you like to continue?
No, I completely agree. I think vulnerability जो है एक weakness नहीं है, एक strength है. Vulnerability दिखाना, अपने weakness को दिखाना एक strength है, and I think only the strong can be weak. You know, the weak can never be weak. It needs a lion heart to say, I'm weak, I don't know, I'm vulnerable, I'm frightened. So having said that, I think that's what it is. Big girls don't cry in the sense that that's not what you end up, or you don't only reduce yourself to tears and then wallow in self-pity and be a victim. You get back up and you give the world a bloody nose. That is what big girls don't cry is. If the punches are going to come, the first time it'll knock you down, second time you get up and you knock right back. That's why big girls don't cry. So crying, we have no problem with crying. Let the tears flow.
Yeah.
But use those tears as fuel. Let them cleanse you, but get up and give one hard one back.
Also remember to say it to your girls, because the thing is, when you're really down and out, your girls are going to be your savior.
True.
So use this term and come back and support your friends, your girlfriends, and the world shall be your oyster.
You know, to all you girls, I would like to ask, how was the sisterhood in real life, like we have witnessed in real life? And like, you know, even you guys are in your growing phase, like I am also.
Even me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 52 and still growing. Yeah.
I want to ask, in ever your life, while even you guys were starting your career, did you hear such narrative ki if you are a big girl, you should be a certain way? Like, each one of you can answer this. Starting with you.
First, I'll answer the sisterhood question.
Yeah.
Okay, so example. I choose to wear this. It's not very blingy, but it's very me. You know, I dance. And I was really like thinking, what should I do? So I went to each one of them. Should I wear this? Should I wear this? And you know what they said? Ki, it doesn't matter what it is, but if it's you and you're feeling it, then you should go for it.
True.
You know?
See?
So you don't have to wear something which appeals to a certain percentage of humans. You just have to wear what you want to wear. And they really supported me.
There you go.
And what was the second question?
Second question was like, have you ever heard someone telling you that big girls don't cry, especially when you are venturing into this entertainment industry? You are at the start of your career, but still, do you get to hear this phrase?
I think for me, it has not been in koi bahar, but it has been me only.
Yeah.
Because, so for example, like, deciding a kapda for this, it's such a small decision. But I'm like, Vidhu, you should be able to do this, right? You shouldn't go to these wonderful women to ask this. So for me, it has always been me, but I think it's okay. It's okay. मतलब होता है, and it's important for us. Like, तो फिर मतलब ठीक है ना?
ठीक है.
I don't think that anyone's ever told me that, like, if you're a big girl, you need to be a particular way. But I think an offshoot of that has definitely been that, especially in this industry, you're constantly told not to come across a particular way and not to be difficult and not to be that. When actually, especially as women and as actors, you're never actually really being difficult. You're just setting boundaries and you're making yourself clear and you're owning your own space. And that's so often interpreted as you being dramatic or difficult or like you have an attitude or an ego. But that's not the case. And I have to say that, again, and it bleeds into the sisterhood question that you asked, these girls were so supportive. And in an instance like this where she was feeling uncomfortable about her clothes, like any moment you felt like your ground was not steady, you could turn to anyone, including Nitya and including Pooja ma'am. Like, you could just turn to anyone and they just so solidly have your back and be like, are you feeling good? Are you ready for this? Then you do it. So that's my answer.
Seriously, I think this notion of crying is really interesting, especially in this industry, because like a girl can cry in this industry and it's like a sign of, I guess, weakness, and it's so easy to be exploited as a woman in this industry that you're so hesitant to kind of show any sign of vulnerability at the fear and at the expense of like your own comfort and your own boundaries, as Dalai said. And at the same time, crying can be a sign of a temper tantrum or you being difficult or you not being compromising and just going with the flow. And so this fine line of like setting your boundaries but also being complicit and being okay with everything, it's so difficult to manage. And I'm new to the Indian film industry, and Dalai and Afra and Aneet have worked here for a while, and I think for me it was comforting to kind of feel like it was and like Aneet has done a film and she's incredibly comforting, amazing woman, and for me it's like, and for Akshita and for Lakila and I, like, we're new in this industry, and it was like helpful to be able to see like our newness within each other and be like, what are we doing wrong? Like are we doing it? And like to go to like the live, like, what do you think? Like, we should not tell this to the producer.
the thing with women is, right, like the way we can understand each other is just a completely different level of understanding. And I feel like to love is to be seen by people and is to be understood by people. And that's when you truly like feel love. And that's what like all of my girlfriends give me. Like they give me that. Like, to be loved is to be known. That's exactly
it's to be known,
it's to be seen, it's to be understood. And that's exactly what we got on set every minute of every day from every strong woman that was there working.
And that did not just end on set. Until now, even until last week, I think we'd call each other for events and be like, is this okay what I'm wearing? I'm going here, I'm going there. So
I call up after like 3 AM for like the most random thing. And I know they will always answer. That's the thing.
Because within the context of the film industry, like you're spending so much time with each other in 3 months. But the moment that like stops happening post the 3 months, you usually lose contact. But with this, it's not happened, which is so special to find.
I have like 2 friends in real life outside of this, right? I'm like this really socially awkward person. And when I met them for the first time, I was like so nervous. I was like, this is not like, oh my god, 7 girls. I was sweating. I was like, 7 girls. But when I actually got to know them, I was like,
wow, this is unbelievable. Like they're incredibly beautiful inside out.
Yeah, because
All of
it,
them.
it could have easily been a nightmare.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry to say, sometimes you do not want to be in a room with 15 of the wrong women.
Yeah.
And someone will say, oh, what do you mean by wrong women? I'm saying women who just choose to be,
Because
you know,
sometimes it
anything
doesn't
but
work.
women.
Yeah, true.
I find sometimes women, as much as I champion women, I want to tell female-led stories. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
but I do feel because there are not enough role models. So the more we make, the more role models we make, the more films, the more stories we tell, then that becomes role models, and then we, as you know, the women get better and
build on that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we build on that. Because if you start championing sisterhood and friendships and what the power of it, if we start championing, we start showing it. I mean, is that the word is always?
Can I also just say, like, normally environments like that with so many women result in like very chaotic kind of dysfunctional environments more often than not because we're pitted against each other. And comparison is always the thief of joy. And I will say, like, despite every difficulty like we've endured on this set, because it's a long process and like the arcs and everything. Never once did Nithya or Sudhanshu or Karan, never once were we compared to another cast member. But,
So
like, we
not
were
true.
always
Yeah.
held accountable to our own mistakes, which I think led to a really amazing process of growth. And we were never enabled, for sure. Never ever compared to like another cast member. Even if we could see that they were doing something that the director was happy with, that I was doing, we would never ever compare. It was never brought up. Yeah, it was never brought up.
I think the one thing amazing our creators has done as well is just all of the characters are just so unique in themselves
I know.
that it just like we all just got the opportunity to just blossom in our like character arcs, and there was no stepping on anybody's toes. There was nothing. We were all just supporting what we were, and it was a great
It's
experience.
amazing thing that happens.
They
when you
also
write
can
women
keep
as
talking, so
people.
you have to cut it when you go together in one house.
I just know I have always thought of women as people. So when you write them as people, it's like amazing what can happen.
Pooja ma'am, I have to ask this to you in this way because, personally in your life, you have been vocal about every ups and downs you have gone through, be it in your familial system, be it your father always being in news, be it you starting at a young age. You have also opened up about your battle with depression and alcoholism. But did someone ever come and tell you that Pooja, it's okay, shut your mouth and just stay in a room and don't bicker or cry about it?
They still tell me to shut up. They told me at 17, they tell me at 52.
Exactly.
कि आपकी ओपिनियन थोड़ा ज्यादा है, थोड़ा अपने आप के पास ही रख लें. Unnecessarily क्यों आप बोर्ड को रॉक कर रहे हैं? It's not very profitable to have strong opinions, and it's not very profitable to have opinions जो भीड़ से थोड़े अलग हैं. मगर ये मैं मानती हूँ कि जहाँ पे भीड़ है उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि सच वहीं पे होता है. इनफैक्ट जहाँ पे भीड़ है चांसेस है कि आपको वहाँ पे सच नहीं मिलने वाला है. तो आई थिंक कि अगर हम दुनिया के बारे में मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं इतना, और ना ही मैं अभी शुरू करने वाली हूँ. टू लेट. बट आई थिंक कि एक जब रोल मॉडल्स के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्योंकि इस शो में one of the reasons I said yes to this show was exactly that, कि like Nithya said, कि there are very few stories being told about girls this age.
Yeah.
These are the formative years of your life.
True.
And आज के दौर में जब भी materialistic pursuits पे इतना focus है, you know, how you look from the outside, how many followers you have, how much money you have in your bank. Nobody's working on each other's hearts. The personas, the personalities being formed. And here was a show that kind of, took you into this world जहाँ पे boarding school में आप घर से निकल के एक दूसरे घर में आते हैं. And yes, you have a certain degree of freedom, मगर एक rigid, वहाँ पे एक decorum होता है, rules होते हैं, नियम होते हैं. So to adjust to that is difficult. And bonds that you form or you don't form is actually makes you the person you are for the rest of your life. And I thought कि आज के दौर में these real role models की बहुत जरूरत है. And ये सारे characters जो हैं, like she said, each one is unique. हर किसी की problem कुछ और है, unique है. And how they overcome their own biases in their head, deal with their own families. किसी के माँ बाप का रिश्ता टूट रहा है, कोई अपनी सेक्सुअलिटी के साथ अवेयर हो रहे हैं या नहीं हो रहे हैं. तो all of that, and I think that is the kind of role models we require out there to see people struggle to find themselves. कि यार जिसके पास सारे आंसर्स हैं ना, मुझे उनसे प्लीज दूर रखें. You know, the completely sure and the ones who have it, who know it all, I want to stay far from them. I want to stay with people जो grapple करते हैं, जो हर दिन struggle करते हैं to reach where they've reached. And I think that's what's so unique about this show. इसके एक फट में कोई मतलब, you know, it's not just solved. It's real. They fail. They make idiots of themselves. They go wrong. There are grey areas. मेरा character जो है, हाँ principal है. She has to be a leader. She has to be tough. She has to be, but she's got her own pain that she's dealing with. तो हमने कितने बार अपने खुद के टीचर्स को देख के कभी सोचा है कि यार उनकी भी जिंदगी में कुछ बीत रही होगी? We don't even consider that, you know.
Exactly.
A doctor comes to kind of treat you. Do you even care what's happening in the doctor's house? So my point is that this is what I liked about Anita Verma, is that she is tough as nails. She knows when to step back, but she's got her own cross to carry, and they're all struggling.
Yeah.
That's what makes them human.
You know, ma'am, one thing that they are in common struggling with is the judgments that come their way for being who they are. Someone is trolled for being.
But isn't that the reality of all our lives, darling?
That's what I was
आज के दौर में जब भी आपका social media, हर किसी के पास तो opinions ही है ना.
Yeah.
They're only opinions. They have no lives, but they've got opinions.
True.
So the point is that if you don't know who you are you? Anita Verma asks. If you don't know who you are, the world will tell you. So if you don't want the world to tell you who you are, you better form a sense of self. And that's what this show is saying.
Exactly.
You know?
And you know, even the you know, from both of you, I have this question. Like you, ma'am, rightly pointed out, someone is dealing with lesbianism, someone is exploring sexuality, someone is dealing with conflicts at their home. You know, these subjects are not often taken ahead. You know, metropolitan cities में हम इसकी बात तो कर लेते हैं, but आज भी हम देखने में बहुत hesitate करते हैं कि अरे ये कौन देखेगा, इसको देख के क्या ही होगा. Do you think these judgments, these opinions form first around us and then it's the world who judges?
I'll just take that.
Yeah, you must take that.
I think the idea honestly is, firstly, we'll stop judging first. We have to normalize these conversations. Being heterosexual, homosexual, or any of that, I don't even think that we have to stop putting them in categories. So the first thing that we normalize, whether it's a divorced background, whether it's any of these things, right? Let's normalize this first. Then we can stop the judgment. And which is why I think what helps in that is when you do authentic representation of these stories. And that's all I attempt to do. And I'm sure I miserably fail sometimes. But I think that's all you want to do. You just want to get it right. Because when I'm sitting back and let's say I am whatever my sexual orientation is, or I come from a certain background, when I'm talking about something that I'm not from,
yeah,
I just have to try and get it right as a filmmaker.
True.
I don't want to hit a false note.
Yeah.
So that is, I think as a filmmaker, that's what I want to attempt to do. And what I hope happens is that we just normalize all these conversations so that people don't feel alienated. You don't feel alone. I mean, I can't even imagine, because I have my own, you know, whatever in my closets, but it's tough. Life is tough. It throws things at you. So I don't want girls to be alone here. And the thing is, no, if you can form bonds that don't make you feel alone, like these girls.
Exactly.
And you will not need much else. You don't need anything else.
No, I agree. But I think पहले खुद अपना तो बनो. First, befriend yourself. Understand who you are. Only then can you be a friend to somebody else, a lover to somebody else, a wife or a mother or anyone to somebody else. So I think that's also something that we've forgotten to do as women, you know.
Yeah.
We've kind of so used to nurturing the world, we stopped nurturing ourselves. So I think that we need to step back, nurture ourselves. So whether you are, I mean, people still ask me, why are you not married? I'm like, why are you still single? I said, well, I'll ask you why you're still married. Don't ask me why I'm still single. So simple as that. जब भी मैंने शादी की तब प्रॉब्लम हुआ, जब भी मैंने शादी खत्म कर दी तब प्रॉब्लम हुआ, अब मैं सिंगल हूँ तब प्रॉब्लम है, तो ये 18 साल की है या ये 20 साल की है, ये क्यों करती है, प्रॉब्लम रहेगा. The world will always have a problem, that's okay. But we have to tell our young ladies that, hey, the fact that they're all sitting here, एक भी दूसरे की तरह नहीं दिखते हैं ना, They're all distinct personalities, and the attempt of the filmmaker was not, even though uniforms pehen rahe hain, but uniforms may be, their personalities just came out. And that's what they worked so hard to achieve. So my point is, let's celebrate diversity. Let's celebrate the diversity of our caste, of our great nation. I mean, women don't have to be the same. Our choices don't have to be the same. Our likes do not have to be the same. We don't have to dislike the same thing. But what bonds us together is the fact that, you know, we have to deal with the same biases on different levels, day after day after day, and it's up to us to decide whether we want to perpetuate them or we want to demystify that. But simple.
But also, it's a nice. The thing is that here you can totally tell. Here are two women above 40 who are like looking retrospect. Life has done this, that. But this age group, you know, this is when they start dealing with identity, and it's lovely because there is a masumiyat to this age, which was so difficult because I was like, oh God, I'm 40 and how am I going to not let anything, all those jaded thoughts enter this? Like, how can I celebrate that age group where things are not so hectic, you know? So,
but yet so hectic. It's so dramatic.
What's so worried about?
I mean, this issue becomes so big. So, you know, it's more amplified. And then when you look back, you're like, oh, why was I making such a big deal about it? So, it's all of that. But I think that your inherent innocence and childlike nature is not gone. I mean, you're still that girl in that boarding school.
You have to try and keep it
I
alive.
mean, and that was your problem. And besides that, I must say that I think that besides Tom Ford, I think she's the most well-dressed director on set. Is that she still manages to look like
Exactly. She looks
Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, shows us.
Shows up with $1 million in the middle of all the stress and say, I still got it with my jacket and the patches and the jeans and the boots. And you're like saying, how do you do it?
I'm just trying to inspire them not to use hair, makeup, wardrobe, and just be. But thanks.
Pooja ma'am, you know, coming to you, there is a very beautiful scene in the series. There's a play on what is a Nari and Super Nari. And there is this very beautiful line, women can never be super until we stick to a man. You know, I would like to ask, in today's time, where we are okay and open to seeing a strong-headed woman on screen, there are also times, just citing examples, in movies like Pushpa, say a Kabir Singh, where if a woman is shown in a negative light, these characters draw flaw. And even showing flaw is an art. Do you always feel as a filmmaker that showing women as a perfect person is the only narrative that should be set? Or as a filmmaker, how do you view
human
it?
beings are not perfect. Human beings are not perfect.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see perfect men or women.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not
They don't
interested.
exist.
There is no, exactly, there's no perfection. Perfection is a myth.
Exactly.
And it is what it's, I mean, like, you know, I mean, it's just, we've killed ourselves with that term perfection. But I do believe that everyone has a right to tell stories the way they want to.
Yeah.
We are what we make.
Exactly.
So when you see this show, you will see her soul.
Yeah, true.
You know, जो हम बनाते हैं वो हम होते हैं. You can't run away from that. So when somebody is showing you what they are, when you reject their film, you're actually rejecting them.
Exactly.
So my point is,
And
who
it
knows,
hurts, yeah.
and who knows what works and what does not work. I mean, your way of doing something might not agree with me.
Yeah.
Magar I don't have to subscribe to it. Na?
Exactly.
There's room for all of us out there. So I think talking about misogyny, that can go on forever and ever, क्योंकि वो तो हम हर दिन हमारे television screens पे, हमारे घर में हर सालों से बरसों से देखते जा रहे हैं misogyny, patriarchy, and it's kind of fullest and whatever it might be, but to each their own, yeah. If somebody is doing something,
but I think
it's their call, really. You know?
and also what can as an artist, as a filmmaker, as storytellers, as writers, all you can do is what you want to put out there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. I mean,
I mean, as an actor, all I can do is I will not speak a line which does not come from my core. अगर मुझे patriarchy और मुझे इसकी कोई चीज को
the issue is like I don't think the issue is ever about stories that show flawed people or like extremely misogynist men. I think it's just like to have the space to have all sorts of stories, including stories like this where you champion women, because then that imbalance is not so intense and you don't feel so weighed down by this like just monolith of male stories all the time and toxically male stories sometimes. All of those are interesting, right? Absolutely interesting to explore people of all sorts of, ilks.
No, absolutely. And besides your role model, when you talk about role model का मतलब क्या है? A role model doesn't have to have it all together all the time.
100%.
You want somebody who you look up to say, okay, gir gayi wo, and she's gotten up again.
Exactly.
In that getting up is where your, where your story really is, where your aspiration or your inspiration really is. So I think that's what makes this show
And
unique.
like even in our directors, right? We had Karan, we had Sudhanshu, we had Kopal. Like I'm not saying I don't want to necessarily be their role model, but like I would love it if like they even had male role models, right? Like whether it's in the directors, like I'm okay if I'm not their role model. If Karan or Sudhanshu, anybody is their role model, I'm good with that. I also don't want this divide, this male, female, this that. We just want a little more space
For everyone.
for us.
Pooja ma'am, lastly, are you open to play a weak or submissive woman on screen if offered today?
Submissive to what is the question?
Yeah.
You know, I've always played vulnerable characters.
Yeah.
I have never shied away from that. My first film that I produced at the age of 24, Tamanna, dealt with female infanticide. I was a kind of person who couldn't deal with the fact that my father wanted to kill me the day I was born because I was a female child, in the film, of course. But she fights back.
Yeah.
So in fact, this could have been a great blurb for Tamanna. Big girls don't cry, they fight back. You know. So I think that I know there's certain things that go against my grain, and I think that nobody would even bring me a role like that.
Yeah.
I think people know what I stand for and what I don't stand
Which is
for.
right. Submissive towards what?
Yeah,
like
towards
it's
what?
the tuning.
So I mean, I have no problem. I mean, you can only be a great master if you can be a great slave.
Yeah.
So I have no issues following.
Lines.
You know.
Start writing dialogue.
I can be. You get me to next writer's room.
I'm getting it.
So I think that I have no problem following. I love it. That's why I'm loving this honeymoon phase of my life. Show up on set, struggle with your lines, and you know, even if you forget them, she'll manage. Or Sudhanshu'll manage. Or whatever. It's such a wonderful joy to be told what to do and to follow someone's lead. So that's it.
Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much.
It was
Thank
an
you.
amazing
Thank
time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great question.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nitya Mehra.
Hi, I'm Vidushi.
Hi, I'm Avantika.
Hi, I'm Akshita.
Hi, I'm Delai.
Hi, I'm Aneet.
Hi, I'm Afra.
Hi, I'm Lagila.
Hi, I'm Pooja Bhatt, and you're watching
Bollywood Bubble.